So I've got breaking news today. Final study completed for Cingulate's lead asset, CTx-1301. Of course, Cingulate, publicly traded company under the stock symbol CING. Of course, Shane Schaefer, a good friend of the program, chairman and CEO of Cingulate, Cingulate.com, dealing with ADHD. Thank you.
Good.
Shane, how are you, brother? Good to see you.
Very good. Don't forget. I mean, you know who we are.
Hey, listen, I'm his first compassionate case they come out with. Hey, can you talk, before we get into, for some of the people that don't know who you are and the company is, but there's an awful lot of people that are tuning in because they knew you were going to be on the air tonight. Talk about the fact that no serious adverse effects reported on your final study completed for for CTx-1301. That is a big deal. This is a huge milestone for you guys as a biotech company. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, number one, just being completed with all of our clinical trial work. I mean, we've been in constant communication with the FDA for the last 5-6 years, about our clinical trial program. This is the final study, and it's now over. We have the capital in place to get us all the way through this year, to get the NDA submitted and filed. We'll have a lot of inflection points and milestones. But one of the things you said, Sully, is really important here. We've now had over nine clinical trials. And in every single one of those trials, we had either no or fewer side effects than any other product that's been on the market.
And Shane, as a reminder, the other products are things like first thing comes to mind was Cialis, probably not the right one. Different drug. Side effects.
That was initially a side effect, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. Yep. Hey, can I? But we're talking about the Adderalls of the world, the Vyvanses of the world, and so on and so forth. And this is for the people who are listening for the first time. You've come up with a drug that is, or working on a drug and going through FDA clearance and so on and so forth, that treats ADHD, what used to be called hyperactivity disorder, or ADD, now called attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And there's only been a few drugs that you could use, but it's basically a stimulant, which doesn't make any sense to the rest of us until you start thinking about the science, because the stimulant is basically would stimulate you, and you think the last thing someone with ADHD needs is stimulation, but apparently it affects the frontal lobe. But you have a time release sort of method here, as we're seeing, where you've got a coating that releases one part of the drug, and then a second part of the drug. And the reason being, Shane, I'll let you talk about it, because that's been the biggest problem with ADHD drugs, is because you got to keep taking them. There's no way to monitor it. Take over on that for a minute for me.
Yeah. So I mean, there's two classes of medications used for ADHD. 90+% uses what's called stimulants. The other part uses non-stimulants. Let's think of non-stimulants as your third or fourth or fifth choice, because that's really what it is. You can't tolerate the stimulants. But now back to the stimulant class. They've been used for over 70 years. And the FDA has never rejected a stimulant for the treatment of ADHD. And we're preparing to submit our NDA, which is a new drug application, in just a matter of months. So major inflection point for our company. But when you look back at the treatment history of this, they call them stimulants because if you don't have ADHD, you're going to get stimulated. But if you have ADHD, what it does is it normalizes your brain and puts you in a much better perspective for to deal with your daily activities.
I want to interrupt here. I want to read from this press release because it goes with what you're saying here, because you are in development of the first true once daily stimulant medication that treats ADHD over an entire day. And what's critical is it doesn't matter what your food intake is or anything else. There's nothing affecting it. This works regardless, or at least that's what the early tests indicate, correct?
Well, so we did a study a couple years ago with our 25 milligram dose, which is the mid dose. Now 50 is our highest dose. And by the way, it'll be the highest available dosage form anywhere in the world of a methylphenidate-based preparation. So this is a huge clinical and commercial advantage. So it'd be the highest dose that an adult, let's say, that has severe ADHD could actually utilize to cover their entire active day. So we want to get you from home to homework, breakfast to dinner, revelry to taps, your active day. No one has ever done that before. Not only do we accomplish that because we now timed 3 specific doses at the right time of the day in 3 specific ratios. We're not giving you the same dose 3 times because that doesn't make sense. We're giving you the right amount at the right time and in the right style. We pulse when we need to, and we give you a sustained release when that's the more appropriate way to deliver your ADHD meds. And we have 8 dosage strengths across the entire spectrum of the disorder. So for the first time, physicians, providers, nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, they're going to finally have the ability to give patients with ADHD one tablet, last the entire active day, has a lower side effect profile than anything we've seen before in ADHD, and it has an effect size 3 to 4 times greater than the so-called best products that ADHD has been used, that has been treating ADHD patients for the last 50 years. It's truly groundbreaking work.
Shane Schaefer, the chairman and CEO of Cingulate, their ticker symbol, CING, also a Kansas City Chiefs loser, joining us here once again on the Big
But
Big
the best
Show.
record, the best record in football, though.
Yeah, whatever.
When are the Raiders playoff game?
Oh!
You know I love you.
God, why you gotta
Sorry,
bring
Mike.
Raiders?
Sorry, buddy.
I'm
He
gonna
fired back, and I wasn't expecting.
I love it. I love it.
let's get back to
Okay,
the
sorry.
subject at hand, please.
to see you,
Shane, I
Dave.
want to talk about, because I know I've talked to you briefly about my daughter and her being
Yeah.
diagnosed with ADHD. So, in kids, is it the same? Cingulate can also be used for children, right? Or she's not even a
Yeah, so
child anymore.
we'll be
16.
seeking approval in ages 6 and older.
Okay.
So that's the typical approval. So, you know, if there's a small percentage of patients below the age of 6 that do get treated, that's typically really severe cases of ADHD. We'll be seeking approval in 6 and older, which is pretty much every product's label on the market.
And then
Doctors can always make a decision to use it earlier.
And then you take it in the morning, early morning, I'm assuming, because then it releases throughout the day, right? Just one tablet, as you were saying, the 3 times daily, it's just automatically releasing. And
Wake
so,
up.
Go ahead.
When you wake up, take it right away. Exactly. When you wake up, take it right away, and it's going to deliver 3 specific doses at time 0, 3 hours later, and 7 hours after you took the tablet. They're giving you a perfect day.
Hey, Shane, I got an email from last time you were on from a guy by the name of Ted Jenkins. I don't know where he's from out, but he asked a question about whether this is a drug. Is this more about drug delivery or more about medicine or both?
It's a new product, but it is drug delivery. So our PTR platform, Precision Time Release, really it's a very innovative platform. For the first time in clinicians, you know, in the ability of ADHDs, is a tablet giving you the ability to deliver 2, 3, 4, up to 5 of the same or different drugs in one little tablet. Now, what we're doing in ADHD, and that's why we developed this delivery technology, was to make sure we're delivering the right drug at the right time, in the right place, in the right style. We're going to utilize it in insomnia. We're going to utilize it in anxiety. We're going to utilize it in movement disorders, in oral oncology medications, in antivirals. We're going to utilize this drug delivery platform across the board. Right now, we're going to solve the ADHD problem, a $22 billion a year category in the U.S. alone.
He is one of our favorites, the chairman, CEO of Cingulate, their ticker symbol CING. He is Shane Schaefer. Shane, always great, my friend. And in all seriousness, good luck to you and the Chiefs.
Thanks, buddy.
In the NFL playoffs. We'll see you out here in a couple of weeks, pal. All right,
See you in a few weeks.
more
Favorite guys.
at the Big Viz Show after this.